Hey, it's RCG Productions back with another Planet Coaster video, and today for one, I have a brand new microphone. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I now have a Blue Snowball, which I've gotten on sale for about roughly $50, which I thought was a pretty good deal. And so now I can have higher quality time lapses. Again, I'm not so sure I'm going to be sticking with time lapses. However, again, if people like this stuff, I'll continue doing it. But if they don't, or if no one does, then I'll go back to however I did it, just doing whatever I want. Anyway, so enough of that. We're here about Planet Coaster. So today I am not really going to do a lot this episode because it's another one of those experimental ones. Because like last episode, I was just kind of not really doing a lot. I was just kind of getting a feel for another time lapse. And this one's kind of the same story. I'm just kind of getting used to it still. And since I got a new microphone, I really wanted to test this bad boy out with, a time lapse, obviously. So let's get right into this stuff. So the two pillars I have here, I'm using these for having a sign that's going to have Earthquake on it, which is the name of the RMC. I've chosen Earthquake because Storm Chaser, Earthquake, might as well do some type of storm-related or like disaster-related type names for these roller coasters. So like Storm Chaser, Earthquake, and then maybe Hurricane or Tornado, something disastrous, but a little morbid at the same time if you really think about it. But that's besides the point. So anyway, so green is a big theme here with this. So maybe because since I named it Earthquake, I might go back and maybe touch some other stuff up. Maybe make it look, I don't know, a little more Earthquake-ish. I don't know. Earthquake to me is like something that would just, you see an area or whatnot that's like just a disaster, like just completely destroyed. Something I didn't really do yet, so kind of the name doesn't really fit too well yet. Earthquake might fit in RMC, but the theme of the area doesn't fit so well. But that's besides the point right now. Again, just doing all a test. One thing I actually like about this new DLC that they added with the spooky was the lamps. I actually really like the lamps that they give you in this game. Or in the DLC, rather. My only complaint with them is they're just slightly low poly. You can easily see the polys that they put together, but that's besides the point. Again, like you're not going to be up close and personal with that. It's really just like if you're taking screenshots or videos of it, then it doesn't really matter. You can see it from a distance; it'll look fine. And so I remember last episode I was saying also I usually would just go back and just change the color off camera anyway. This time I'm just going to do it on. So this way I don't forget, because I did actually forget doing this now. I did forget to change the color of a couple of flowers, but that's okay. And I really do like to sink those into the ground to give a feel of just it being like grass coming out, really, not just the flat grass texture that the game has. And so I do expand the mountain now, which is nice. I always thought it was a little flat, or not flat. I thought it was like a little too out of the way, so I kind of brought something closer to the pathway, so this way guests or peeps or whatever you want to call them will see different land formations, or if you're navigating the park in freeform mode, you can see some type of hill, instead of just being like out of the way, because terrain in real life isn't normally flat. It's you got different areas of it that are different. So here I try to make a ditch, maybe over here is where I might touch up on next time and make it a little more, earthquakey. Sure, it's a little bit of a half-assed attempt at doing it, especially near the end of the ride. But I really do like what I did with the hills on each hill that I did with the RMC, because when it dips down, it's on a hill, but when it goes up a hill, when it reaches the crest, it has a break in between where the sand would go through. So that's what I did with that. It looks kind of nice. Maybe I'll show it off more next episode, probably. But you can probably see it in some parts of the time lapse too. Is like you can see some parts, like some of the rock going through it and all that jazz, which is nice. So I put some more foliage around here. Put some more of those like grass things I really like to put down. And I kind of half-assed putting down these shrubs and stuff because they're really off camera. Or I'm sorry, not off camera. They're really in the background, if anything. So there's really no reason to detail those that much or touch up on them really. Just kind of put like 2 or 3 down in a bunch in the back, like 40 or so meters away or 100 feet away, and should be good enough, you know. And again, there's not really too much going on this episode. Again, it's just really all just tests. By maybe 4 or 5 episodes or parts in, I will probably kind of get a good flow of what I'm doing here, and I'll probably start doing some more complicated and more unique projects. I do go back here at least, so this way we kind of get a break from all the foliage placing and all that, and I do touch up on this building a bit more because I thought I just needed a little bit. So I put some wooden beams in between the transition of the brick and the lime plaster, which is nice, and then I put down some of these topiaries, I believe they're called, and I get rid of that bush I put there and put another one down, so this way it looks a little different and unique, you know. And I put some flowers near the exit path. Again, might touch up that later and make it look a little more unique. And the shrubbery, I just kind of just placed down like just quickly for some reason. And I started putting some bins down because I was noticing some complaints earlier. This is a sandbox, sure. However, I do like to keep it, you know, realistic in the sense where it's like everything's managed kind of well. Like there's no, you know, like I do put down trash cans and all that a lot, which is like kind of fun to do a little bit. But I don't do it a lot for some reason. I don't know. I usually just kind of gloss over it and just don't put down any benches or trash cans for some reason. It's one of those weird things I do. But when I actually do remember to do it, it's actually, you know, I find it to be a little relaxing and just calming just to do that, and just easy. I try to make a ditch here, which kind of tries to break it up a bit from all the foliage, and I actually try to put water in there, and as you see in a couple minutes. And it wasn't playing nicely, so I had to like play around with it, and I gave up on the water idea very quickly. So I didn't want to repeat what I did with Storm Chaser. I did a very similar thing with Storm Chaser that's across the park, and I don't want to repeat that. So instead I just do some like little texture work, got some rock and some grass, or the different type of grass, and the other dirt there. And here's a nice little screenshot, as you can see here. I'm about to gap here. I do like to play with the lighting to get a good screenshot. And I decided to get rid of that roller coaster, the family coaster in the middle. There's 2 reasons for it. First off, I didn't like the layout. The layout was very straight and boring and whatnot. It wasn't very fun to like ride and build. It was very boring. And just for those who are wondering, I did use the 4mm method for it. 4mm, what am I thinking? 4-meter method, excuse me, for it. I'm using the 4-meter method for probably every single roller coaster in this park, and I'm going to deduce if it's even worth it. But I'm not going to touch into that because everyone knows, everyone and their grandmother knows about that technique now. There's a funny little, not glitch, but a little thing I noticed back here. They just kind of went there, so I put a hill over them. Anyway, so yeah, the layout was bad. I didn't like it, and I did not like where I put it. It looked very forced, to say the least. It was a very forced placement, and I didn't like it. So instead of putting a junior coaster there, I believe it was the Dragon one, I put a chair swing here instead. And part of me thinks I put it a little too close to the path, so I might move that out of the way, and I might just move it maybe a little more towards the middle, but not all the way, because I want to put a plaza there or something. I want to put buildings in the center of the park and a centerpiece, maybe like a fountain or like some type of fireworks show, perhaps. Something, you know, something kind of eye-catching, you know, nothing but just, not foliage, but like a very eye-catching like centerpiece to this main island, because in reality it's an island. If I were to send a picture or whatnot, or if I ever zoom out in this time lapse, you will see it's basically an island or an inlet, really. It's not really like a part of the whole thing. Like, anywho, so yeah, I color that, and that's kind of honestly it. So I'm going to be calling it for the episode today. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Have a good day.